Hi, welcome. I'm Kristy.
And I'm Courtney, and we're heard at the bar.
Yes, we are. We are heard at the bar. I
We're
love how
we
we
are
both
heard.
scratched our nose at the same time. For those of you who can't see us, we're in sync here.
So crazy.
So
Uh,
it's Sunday morning. We tape Sunday mornings, and for
yep,
some reason, I
Sunday
don't know what
mornings.
it is for Sunday mornings. I just can't get my act together. And the whole
Yeah,
reason why I switched to Sunday mornings was so that I could do my hair and makeup. And here I am. So good morning from London, Ontario. January, my goodness, so much going on. Are you feeling the January blahs yet?
yes, very much so. And I mean, the weather doesn't help. It's going from like really, really cold to really, really warm to today it's snowing again.
Right.
I
I mean, and I do like it when we get the teasers, the mild teasers when the sun comes out and it's like 12 degrees. And then, of course, Canadians, you've got the guys that are walking around with
shorts.
their shorts and their slides.
Yeah, as soon as it's
Okay.
plus, as soon as it's
Yeah.
a plus.
Settle down, buddy. Get the sun came out, but let's just maybe stick to the pants just a little bit longer. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it does. And I do like that. But then I do, yeah, when we get these going back to the cold, it's like that reminder that no, we're not done yet. Yeah. And the problem is that we're not super cold this year. So we're not having those deep freeze moments where like the sun is out. It's freaking freezing, but the sun is out. Much prefer those days
No,
over
it's
the
been
cloudy and
snowier. A lot more snow this year.
yeah,
So milder temperatures, but lots of snow.
yeah. Oh my goodness. So this time of year would have been busy for you back in the day when you were with that place you used to work for that was a university. Are you allowed to even say where you used to work?
I think so, yeah. As long as yeah. So yeah, this is definitely the time when kids are applying to university, college, trying to figure out what they're going to do. I also think it's really crazy that kids have to decide so early what they want to do in life. Like, I don't even, and it's really hard because like everything in high school gears you towards going to university, like regardless. So,
Yeah.
it's really tough for those kids that, and really nowadays, university is maybe not the right answer for every kid. Like we are having so many issues with not having enough people in trades. And then really academically, not everybody needs to go to university. Like I think at higher education for sure. I think that having that next step beyond high school really does help you in having conversations with people and just that emotional intelligence development. Um, but I do think that more needs to be talked about for the other options that happen. So parents like us, so my daughter is in first year already. Kristy's, your girls are both done.
Yeah. Yeah.
My son just graduated university in Toronto. But for those people who have kids that are just trying to figure out what to do, I think it's a good topic to talk about. Like, why? What do you need to know? Basically, what do you need to know about university versus college? Originally, when I was working at Western, I'll say, so I worked at Western. When I was working at Western, I wanted to do a podcast that was about university, like applying to university and what you need to know and what you don't need to know. You know, like some people are like, oh, you have to get into Western. No, you don't. You don't have to go to Western. Western has a very high average for the entrance because so many people apply. Like,
Right.
it's not high because it's a better education. It's basically the average for admission is based on the number of applicants that applied for that university. So just because Western has a high average doesn't make it a better education. It's more about, does it have what you want for studying? Does it have the topics? Like each university usually has one niche thing that they're really good at. And
Right. That they're
so
known for.
if you're from London, yes, maybe you want to stay in London. So you look at finding something to take at one of the three universities in London, Western King's or Western King's Huron, yeah. Or Fanshawe is also a great option. And then if you have a specialty that you want to do, then you look at the university or college that will do that for you. But I think a lot of people put a lot of pressure on these kids just to get them into Western, to say you went to Western. I know a lot of Neve's friends, that's what happened with them. they got so much pressure. And because really, right now, unless you have a really high average, they are not giving admission offers. Like, you do give them, but the majority of people get their offer in the spring, not now, because they're taking the high average that's not going to drop that low, and they're offering admission. Um, it's just one of those things that I feel bad because I saw so many kids distraught that they didn't get an offer of admission at this time of year because
Yeah.
so many other kids are getting them. But it's just so frustrating to watch because it kind of beats them down when they don't need to be.
I think the shame of it is that university isn't what it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you had a university degree, you were guaranteed a good paying job.
Mm-hmm.
That's no longer the case. In fact, which I think is a good thing, that college is an acceptable track
Mm-hmm.
to get a job now. Whereas before, you went to college because you couldn't manage university.
Yes.
And like if it had more of a social acceptance when I was going through mine, I probably would have gone the college route because I didn't know what I wanted to do for a living. I had my skills was art. I was creative, but there weren't there wasn't a track for me to take at that point that was clear to get me to where I needed to be. And there wasn't enough, like back when we were in high school, there weren't trade type classes in high school. Whereas now there is, right? There's more
Yeah.
of those, like, try this. This is what nursing would be like. This is what,
Yeah.
I don't know, nursing's not a trade, but this is what hairstyling would be like. This is what
Mm-hmm.
being an electrical apprentice would like. There's all those things so they can try during high school, which I really think that's what early high school should be. Because I know for both of my daughters, they started their high school career with one plan at the end.
Yeah.
And at the end of it changed their mind. And it did change. It made it more stressful because now they're having to get courses that they didn't have. They had to, you know, rearrange what their plan was, and it caused a lot of stress that way. So I don't know. I don't feel like we've got a system that's working properly, and I don't think it's ever really worked properly.
I don't think kids should have to pick at grade 9 what they're going to do. So that same thing happened with Kian. So Kian is a dancer, and so he never considered going to university. Like,
Right.
so he took all just the basic classes
Yep.
to get his high school diploma. Like, he had no plans.
Right.
And it was as he was in grade 12 that he started talking to other dancers in the industry who said, you know, I would get your education while you're young. Like,
Right.
why not? Because when you're 30 and your body gives out, maybe you want to be a professor and teach other kids how to dance. Like, he was
Right.
talking to people. And so he came to me like, I don't even know the deadline. So the deadline is usually this week in January to apply to university. So he came to me and said, I want to just apply, just throw my hat in. So I was like, okay, well, like the deadline is, I think it was like tomorrow. And I was like, okay, well, let's apply. I don't know. What are you thinking? And he's like, I don't know. So let's apply. So we got his application in, and then it wasn't until, I want to say it was like April. And I was taking him to a track and field meet, and he said to me, hey mom, I think I want to go to York for choreography. And I'm like, you what?
Oh, and the application's already finished. Like, there's
Everything is all done. Now, luckily, because he had applied he applied to Kings and Western. Because he had applied to those, it opened his application. So he was able just to go and add York to his options. So he was able to do that. But had he not even done that, like, and he didn't get into Western and Kings, he didn't have the qualifying courses.
Right.
Because nobody talked to him about that. And I talked about it having worked at Western, but he continuously said, no, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. And I can't force a kid to do something, right? So I was just like, okay. Like, he did have a lot of mixed classes. So they do count towards university, but he had no sciences at all. He dropped those as soon as he possibly could. So being that he was looking at potentially dance, well, kinesiology is a required course for those things. And he dropped that
Yeah.
class. So,
Yeah.
and he dropped it because he didn't take biology and he was finding it
Right.
too hard. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, making kids in grade 9 pick what
Yeah.
they want to do as an adult is crazy. Why can't we just have everything be general so that all the classes you take can be used for university and college, and then obviously have specific ones that you could specialize in, but make all of the basic classes you take work for college and university instead of
Well,
making you pick one or the other.
and really, if they flipped the way that it works right now, because grade 9 and grade 10, you've got to take these mandatory courses that are determining that, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then later on, when you can start pulling in your electives, then you can start trying those
Yeah.
classes that are could actually help you figure out what you want to do for a living. What are you actually interested in? And so if year 1 and 2 in high school was actually about what, like, more focused on different types of careers,
Yeah.
scientific careers, math careers, like where does your creative careers, careers with your hands, if it was more focused on that, then you'd have a better understanding of, okay, what is it that I want to do? And I'm really enjoying this type of thing. And then the guidance counselor comes in and says, okay, that would take you on
Yeah.
this path. You'd need university. So therefore, we got it for grade 11 and 12. Let's get
Mhm.
you in the university courses, right? Like it's kind of backwards to what it needs to be. But I also think there is something to be said for the fact that it is hard to fail a child right now.
Yes.
And I'm
Yes.
like, of course we want to build our children up, but at the same time, I have friends who are teachers, and the struggle that in high school and the struggles that they go through with, there's only so much they can do with someone who's just not getting it. And
Yeah.
what service are they doing giving them passing grades to get through? Or even what service are they doing that they're not getting that level of preparedness for university or college, wherever they're deciding to go? So that then these poor kids get into their first year and now they don't know how to write an essay properly. They don't know how to manage their time to study for an exam. Like, no wonder the stress is so high. And then if you go back to what we talked about a couple of weeks ago, we've, as parents, have provided them with no survival skills. So now on top of that, they're not
Yeah.
capable of managing any of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know that when we were younger that it was all that much better. Like I said, like I was a creative person and I stayed away. I loved fitness, but I stayed away from the fitness part of it because you had to be an athlete. So to
Mhm.
do phys ed, to do kinesiology, that was
Yeah.
the athletes that did that.
Yeah.
And yet, once I started doing my training for Pilates and I started understanding anatomy and working with it, I found that it made sense to me. It clicked with me. And if I had had a chance to try that earlier on in life, would I have gone a different route with my career? Would I have seen something of value, like to get a kinesiology degree? But I was a creative. I wasn't a jock.
Yeah. It's one of the, like, so originally when I was in grade 13, I decided I wanted to be an early childhood educator. That's what I
Okay.
wanted to do, early childhood education. The stream for that is at Fanshawe. So, I was an academic student, so I had good grades. But my dad actually talked to, so my dad was a bus driver for the LTC, so the London Transit Commission.
Okay.
And so all my friends rode the bus all the time. So I remember my dad convinced some of my friends to talk me out of going to Fanshawe because I'm the first person in our family to ever go to university. So
Okay.
he wanted me to be the first person to go to university. Like back then, so we're talking, what was this, early 90s? I'm trying to think of when I went to university. Yeah, early 90s. And so he was convinced that the only way to get a job after after university was to go to university. So he
Right. Well, because
pressured
back then
my,
that was the
yeah,
best jobs.
yeah.
You needed a
So
university
he
degree.
pressured my friends to tell me that I should not go to Fanshawe, that I needed to go to Western. So I literally abandoned doing that and went to Western. Now, I did do developmental psychology. So I did stay in the same early childhood education field. I took
Yeah.
early childhood education classes
Yeah.
so that I could get my certification if I wanted to. But
Right.
that's when obviously I found out that if you're an early childhood educator, I think at the time you made like $24,000 a year. Like,
Yeah.
and you also didn't have a choice. Like there was so much, this is when everything was changing, where you didn't have the choice, where parents were starting to be like, not nice. You know, back when we were kids, parents were like, here, have my child, take care of them, and they never commented, right? They didn't come at the teachers. They didn't do anything like
Oh,
that.
no, no.
Like
In
they just
fact,
like, that's
if
your
you,
job. You do
right.
that.
And if you came home with a bad report, you got in trouble, not the
That was
teacher.
you, not
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
teacher. Yeah. So
Yeah.
this was back when we were in university, that's when things were starting to flip. And it was the next generation where they were kind of being like, no, don't you talk to my child, you know, blah, 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 blah. And that's when I was like, okay, no, I don't think I want to deal with. And that's actually when my father-in-law retired, because he was a teacher and he was starting to have to deal with parents who were coming to him and saying, why didn't you let Johnny sleep in your class today? Like, why did you make him work? Why did you send Johnny to the principal's office when he threw that pen in your face? Like, because my father-in-law is very strict. He's like, no, this is what you need. Discipline, discipline, discipline. So that was when he started getting in trouble for things that are normal for teachers to discipline a student, and not physically discipline. Like literally, you just called me whatever, you need to go see the principal.
Right.
He would get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
And so that's when things switched. And I was like, I don't know that I could handle that. Like, I don't know that I could handle not being able to discipline a child who bit another child. Like,
right.
Instead of, So I was like, okay. And so then I started going down like the media route, like started getting into social media and doing that. And that's kind of where I went. And I use my psychology. So I use my developmental psychology all the time, because it does teach you how to speak to people, the different personalities, how to teach and train different personalities. So it's super helpful for me in real life. Like I find even with Pilates, when I'm teaching something, each person has a different style for learning. And having that background and knowing that helps you to be able to get through to someone, you know, that person where you're like, you know, we're bending our knees and someone's not bending their knees. So it helps you to know how to speak to the other people, to get them to be like, you know, when I was doing this and then you bend your knees, and people get a better, like they get it. You can see them going, oh, that's me you're talking to. Gotcha. But yeah, but I didn't go to Fanshawe and take that because of that. And I mean, do I regret it? Not really, but at the same time, my life might have been different. Like, you know, like I worked 3 jobs to pay for university, because I didn't come from a background where we had a lot of money. So I wouldn't have had to do that with Fanshawe, but I had to with Western. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm a better person for having worked 3 jobs while I went to university.
I mean, right? Like I said, the whole survival thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like the harder you start, the more you appreciate when the good things happen. I've always said that to my daughters. You get the bad job, so you appreciate the good one when it comes along.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything, again, I think too, what life gets like when you're an adult, right? Mm-hmm. And the multiple things that you've got to, you know, deal with at a time when you have a career, and you have responsibilities with your career, you have responsibilities with your house, you have responsibilities with being an adult. And learning early on in life how to juggle multiple things is just going to make it not as cumbersome when you're older. It's going to reduce the amount of, I mean, it's still stressful, but maybe reduce the amount of anxiety that goes along with it. It'll help prepare us a little bit more for managing the craziness that comes with life. Because no matter how great your life is, no matter how set up you are, there are challenges and things that come up. It's just the way that the world works. But if we haven't those sorts of things, working 2 jobs and doing school, I think I had 2 jobs and I had a kid while I was in university.
Yeah.
Right. So like,
Yeah.
I look back at it now and I think, how the heck did I manage? But you manage.
You
And
do.
in doing that, it builds resilience and it helps you kind of get ready for, although I wouldn't say I'm handling things very well right now in my life, but I'm getting there.
I swear, like it's the same. So like Kian's in Toronto. He also has 3 jobs.
Yeah.
And he's trying to, actually has an audition today. So I don't think that that's wrong. So I know a lot of people when I talk to them and I'm like, yeah, he's dancing for the Raptors. He also works for the Megan boys and he works at Starbucks during the day. And they're like, oh my gosh, like that's a bad thing. And I'm like, no, I think it's building resilience. He is learning the cost of $1. He is learning that if you want to survive it, you need to do these types of things, especially if you choose to be a dancer. Now, I have to say, he has started talking about the fact he wishes he didn't go to university and did do a trade. So that he wishes that he had done a more hands-on trade so that he could easily find jobs around his dancing. Whereas I think like he's not against like physical labor kind of thing. He just feels that he doesn't have the tools that he needs to find something steady and stable. Like, I mean, he's working at Starbucks right now. That's great for him. It's during the day, so it's usually mornings. I think the shifts can be anywhere from like 6 in the. And then he'll work, the latest he could work is 6:30 at the store he's at. And he doesn't have to work on the weekends. So, and he can work around his Raptor schedule. Yes. So if he has Raptors, he has on court usually in the middle of the afternoon. So he'll take a morning shift. And that's really helping him. And then his Megan Boys is on the weekend. And so it's.
So what he should do, Courtney, he should become a welder.
Well, I think he originally wanted to be a
Courtney,
plumber.
I'm making a joke about Flashdance.
Oh my God, I just got it. So you're talking about, so do you want to know where my mind went? To Step Up.
Was there a welder in Step Up?
Yes, he's
too?
a welder. Yes.
See? Dancers are supposed to be welders.
Kian, if you ever watch this podcast, you should become a welder.
Let's get him on the phone right now and see if he's willing.
So funny.
It's so funny. Obvious. Become a welder. Obvious.
You got to be a welder, Kian. I'm sorry. He originally did talk about being a plumber because a friend of ours who is a tour manager, he was a tour manager for Naughty by Nature and 50 Cent. And he actually is a plumber. And so when he's not touring, he just picks up plumbing jobs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Make ends meet when you're not on the road. Yeah. Because everybody needs a plumber. People are always hiring a plumber. Yeah. He's in New York City too. So yeah, like always hiring a plumber. So yeah. So Kian originally had said that's what he wanted to do. So I was actually surprised when he switched to say, I want to go to university. So,
right.
But yeah, now he's kind of looking at it being like, oh, I wish I had done that because I would at least have a job now. Like I would be coming out.
But couldn't he teach at like dance studios in Toronto?
Yeah, he could. He likes to choreograph. He doesn't like to be a teacher. Like he doesn't like the teaching because you have to start usually with little ones.
Okay.
He likes to choreograph. So he does choreograph. Actually, I think it was South Collegiate here in London had him come and choreograph for their school production. So
right.
Yeah. So he had that. This just reminded me of hockey. Because everything reminds me of hockey. So same thing, the schooling, the NCAA, it used to be that you had to choose, do you want to go to the NCAA route, or do you want to play professional, like semi-pro hockey and go into the CHL? And that just changed. So it'll be interesting to see, because I know I just recently had a conversation with our billet, who is committed to Maine for 2027. But that was because he had to choose school or not. And he wasn't in the O So he's Russian. So he was in the US going to a hockey school there last year. And
Oh,
so
okay.
he got an offer for Maine and he accepted it. So I have no idea what he's going to do, if he chooses university or if he chooses not to. But his best friend, who stayed with us over Christmas, is committed to going to Boston next year.
Okay.
So it's interesting to see how that's going to change the landscape of these boys. It reminded me because I just saw his friend's name come up on my computer. And I was like, oh, yes, we're talking about schooling and what to do. So it's in all facets of life, right? So kids have to decide whether you're in a professional sport or whether you're a kid in high school going into university or college. It's just that time of year when you've got to figure these things out. And I wish
And
there was more options.
how lucky are the ones who know what they want to do
Oh, yes.
all the way through.
Yes.
My good friend, Robin, her daughter, Reagan, she started getting involved in the high school project at the Grand Theater, which is so she did Matilda and she did Newsies, and she does the costumes for it.
I love that.
Very talented.
I love
very
that.
talented. And so she, because of that experience, decided to apply to Dalhousie has a theater costume design program.
Love that.
And you know what? So she applied in January, like just before Christmas. Mm-hmm. I was going to say December, just before Christmas. And she got her acceptance 2 days after she applied.
That's so exciting. That is so
2
exciting.
days after she applied. Like, how amazing is that? And, you know, there was a lot of stress leading into it because she wasn't applying and Robin was concerned. And, but just, you know, a typical mom, like, okay, you got to get this done. You got to get this done, you know, and there wasn't a rush for Reagan because like the deadline hadn't come yet. So why would she be concerned about it?
Yeah.
But she applied and got her acceptance within 2 days. So at Christmas Eve, she had the news for everybody when we all got together, which was just
I love that. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
You saying that reminded me, that's kind of what happened with Kian, with his. He applied, he literally, I know exactly. I thought it was April. It was not, it was May. He literally applied the week before May 2-4 because he got accepted May 2-4 because we were at the cottage. And I saw an email come in being like, congratulations, Kian. And I was like, what the heck is this? I click it and I'm like, oh my God. And he wasn't with us. So I'm like texting him to be like, can you read your email, please? And he's like, oh, I'm with the boys. I'm like, no. Can you read your email, please? I don't want to tell you what I just saw, but I need you to see it. And he saw it and he was like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, you applied last week.
Yeah.
But yeah, when they're meant to do something, they're meant to do it.
Exactly. Exactly. And then some of us don't figure out what we're going to do until we're 40. And some of us change our minds.
I was just going to say, and some of us at 50 change
everything,
change careers.
Right? Kayla, when she started, her plan was to become a journalist.
Yeah.
Then it switched to law. And now she's a psychotherapist.
Well, Neve right now thinks she wants to be a police officer. I'm sorry, Neve, if you ever watch this, there is no freaking way you could even hold a gun. Like she spills water and she panics and freezes.
But maybe that'll help her with her anxiety. Maybe that'll help her.
And maybe, I think maybe she could go into something within policing. Like, I really think she's just got that mind, right? She wants to be a detective. That's what she wants to do. Is she
in criminology?
She's in criminology, yeah. And she just has the mind. She knows how people's minds work. She can take clues and figure things out. Like, she is so good at that kind of thing. And I always second guess her when she tells me something. And then she'll be like, see, told you. And I'm like, you're right. But she knows to become a detective, she has to go through the bottom levels, right? So she has to actually be a cop before she becomes a detective. I wish there was something else in policing she could find, and hopefully she'll talk to people and figure things out. Just because her anxiety and her panic over situations, I just don't think she could handle it.
Well, now, Courtney, she's not going to get a job because you've just told the world that this is her issue, and they're going to be like, hey, her mom doesn't think she should do it. Girl.
She's
Change the
only
narrative.
18. No, she's only 18. I don't know. I said to her, like, what about PR or something like that for the police? Like, would you do something like that? She's a beautiful girl. She's
What
like,
does beauty have to do with being in PR?
oh, come on. Seriously? Seriously?
Come on now.
Come on now. I
She's a
was in
smart
PR.
girl. She's
She
the
is. She
smart
is a very,
girl.
very smart girl. She just got a 92 on her midterm. Smart
Right.
girl.
Very smart girl.
Yeah, she is a very smart girl.
She's more than just a pretty face.
Oh no, yeah, this is her problem. Is that people say to her, "You got what?" And she'll be like, "I got a 92." And they're like, "Oh." And she's like, "What? Because I'm pretty, you think I'm dumb?" And they're like, "Well, sort of." Oh, she hates that. She absolutely hates that. She doesn't watch my podcast anyway, so she won't see this.
Here's hoping.
All right. Well, I think we've strayed off of our topic for today,
As we do.
as we always do. But thank you for listening. And if you have any questions for anything about university, if I can help, leave us a comment. I'll try to help. I did it for 27 years.
That's right. Courtney's here for you. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for being part of the Herd at the Bar community.
Bye, guys.